Today on Fort in the Woods Builds, we build this. As you guys know, we love trebuchets, and we have found a method of building an arm for a trebuchet that you can carry. It's called a sling staff. We're gonna build one today. The materials we're gonna use are very simple. All right, for materials, we're gonna need a piece of bamboo or a wooden pole, piece of leather or cloth, some strong rope or cord, some burlap string, duct tape, a steel bar or long nail, and a small washer. For tools, we're gonna need a hammer, a multi-tool, or pliers. And if your pole is not cut to the proper length, you're gonna probably need a saw. So let's get started. All right, so we're gonna take our pole, and this one was conveniently cut to the proper length. I think we're gonna go for something that, it's kind of staff length. I think, I had not built one of these before. It just seemed like a fun idea. So you're gonna, I don't know, this feels about right. It's, I don't know, probably about 12 feet long, I'd say. Well, maybe not. Okay, maybe that's more like 7 or 8, but I'm short, what can I say? I don't know. I think the first thing we're gonna really do is we're going to go ahead and attach the rope and the pieces and components up on the end of this staff. So to do that, we are going to use duct tape. I know it is not the most beautiful thing, so we have also brought some burlap twine to wrap on the exterior after we adhere the duct tape and the rope and everything. This will make it look nice. It'll also add a little bit of strength. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take our rope here and tangle it up excessively. This is not perfect. I'm gonna kind of figure this out as we go. But to begin securing this, I'm gonna tie this past the knuckle on this piece of bamboo so it will not want to slide as easily. And this is gonna be the non-slipping part of this sling. And I was debating whether we're gonna go and twist this all around or if I wanna take it up just a straight path. And I think that is what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna take this up this first segment of bamboo, and then I'm gonna go and tie it again. So that way we can run tape and string all through this section so it secures this well to this piece of bamboo. There we go. So we have a pretty secure attachment to the bamboo. And since the rod is also gonna need to be very, very secure on here, I can add this in now with this, and there's 2 little pieces of bamboo branch right there. That's just convenient. I think I'm gonna sleeve that in right there. Okay. So this is way too long. You can see this comes all the way up. We're only gonna want about 3 inches of this, but I want it to really be secured on here. If you do this with a broom handle or a piece of wood, you will use that hammer to nail a nail maybe into the end of the post or anything like that, and then that way you can bend that piece of metal to adjust the timing. But since I have a steel rod here and bamboo, you can't really nail into it, so I'm gonna wanna have a lot of metal back here so it gives me lots of area to securely attach this. So now to get a little bit of a kind of sticky adherent to here, I'm gonna use the duct tape, and then I'll follow that up with some burlap. That way it looks nice and authentic. But I just feel like this is gonna be a stronger method of attachment. So I'm gonna actually start on the kind of halfway in the bamboo and halfway in the metal, like this. And I'm just gonna bring it around. I'm just gonna do about 3 inches of duct tape, like so. I'm gonna tear it off. And then I'm gonna do a section up here, and I'll wrap more where the rope is. Okay, so the duct tape has adhered the pole. I don't feel like that's coming out. There's not a lot of force that goes on this anyway. It's simply just to retain this washer. So the washer is tied to the other end of the rope. As the momentum of the throw happens, this opens up, releases, and then it opens a sling, throwing whatever projectile you've chosen to its destination. Let's get the twine and do that. I'm just gonna take a piece of tape and tie this burlap down. So I'm gonna bring this back here to bare bamboo and just start spinning this bamboo and keep good tension on this. So we can just do this. The purpose of this really is just to dress this up and make it look nice, and it is gonna add a little bit of extra strength. Okay, that's good for this section. So we've got this nicely wrapped. See a little duct tape through there, but that's not too bad. I'm gonna try to secure it off to this steel bar. Maybe give a couple wraps here. I'm just gonna do a basic knot. And just so it stays, I'm gonna go ahead and cinch it down nice and tight. And I think that will hold nicely. And that tail of the rope, I'm just gonna kind of tuck into there. And if you wanted to make sure that stays in there, you could drip a little bit of glue, but I'm not too worried about that. That looks pretty nice. Cool. All right, so now we're gonna do the exact same thing all the way for this entire section. So I just tied this here, and now we're just gonna go for it. All right, so we are almost done. That has taken a second to do, but you can see that was a lot of binding. All right, that's about it. So I think I'm gonna tie this off. There, I think that's good. There we go. All right, that's all bound up. Now it's time to move on and finish the sling. All right, so we have our leather sling. We need to punch holes in either end so we can attach the ends of the sling to it. These paper clips or clothespins are holding the leather in a fold pattern that's gonna make a cup or a pouch, so that way we can put our projectile on there and it will open up and throw the item. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna punch holes that are right about here in this leather, and to do that I'm gonna go and use the knife on my multi-tool. Obviously a screwdriver and a hammer or a nail and a hammer will work well, but I'm just gonna go right about here, and I'm gonna actually put it in the opening right here in this wood, kind of twist. There we go. And now we have cut through, enabling us to pass this rope through. Now this is not very easy, so I'm gonna take the pliers, put it through the hole that we've made with the knife, like so. We're gonna wanna use half. Wow, that is all twisted up. I'm gonna go and get this untwisted. Just hang on a second. You might wanna stand back. This gives me an idea. Hey.
Jeez, that is scary. Are you sure that's really close to my head?
I'm checking. I don't think it can reach you.
Oh my gosh. Do that again. It's making like cool little vapor puffs.
That's awesome.
I want to try.
All right, so here we are at the Fort in the Woods testing facility. We had a couple mishaps, but we have overcome. When I say overcome, I mean we broke it again and it's a lot shorter. All right, so I've got some rocks. We brought a couple others up with us. We're gonna give this thing a try. Okay, I'm just gonna load the sling up kind of carefully. All right, ready?
Yep.
Give this another shot. That's a pretty good distance. Dang, that's pretty cool. Let me get some more rocks. Hey, smaller rock. There's no way I could throw a rock anywhere that far. Like,
I'm losing track of them because they're going so far.
One medium-sized piece of gravel. This is a little bit lighter than the last throw, so let's see how far this thing goes. Dang. How far was that? That had to be at least 170. Because the Trebuchet would throw about that far, a full-size pumpkin. Let's see if we can go further. All right, so I think that about does it for this build. We appreciate everybody watching. If you guys want to keep up with us, go and check out our social media. And if you haven't, please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel.